Welcome to a MAE dolls tutorial, where I'll show you how to make a MAE doll in 7 easy steps. MAE dolls are printed dolls that you make and embellish. Each style is a limited edition with only 50 dolls of each style available, but new styles are released regularly. You can find out more on maedolls.com. So here are the materials you'll need. Besides a MAE doll kit, you will need a dry paintbrush with a soft rounded tip, sewing needles, a few pins, stuffing, thread, and scissors. To start, simply cut along the black outline around the printed doll. You should now have 2 doll pieces, front and back. With the printed sides facing each other, pin the 2 sides together. Now with a pencil, draw the openings that you'll use for stuffing. On one side, measure 2 finger widths up from the corner of the dress and mark a line. Then measure 3 finger widths up and mark another line. This is your main opening for stuffing. On both arms, draw in an opening of 2 finger widths in size just above each hand. The next step is to sew the 2 sides together. You can use a sewing machine, but here I'm hand sewing it together. Use a long piece of thread doubled up and tie a knot at the end. Start sewing at the top end of the opening on the side of the doll. So here I'm using a back stitch. Stitch along the outer edge of the doll, which you can see through the fabric. By doing this, you'll have about a 1 centimeter or less than ½ inch seam allowance around the whole doll. As a rough guide, hand sewing the whole doll will take about 45 minutes to an hour. Using a sewing machine will take you about 10 to 15 minutes. And remember not to sew together the 3 openings you have marked for stuffing. It's important to make a few snips on the curves and corners to ensure your doll will have the right shape when you turn it inside out. With a pencil, draw a zigzag pattern around the head, on the top of each arm, around the hand, and around each foot. If you've got pinking shears, this step may go a little bit faster, but here I'm using normal scissors to cut out the triangles around all the curves. Make sure not to cut into the seam that you've just sewn. Once that's done, you need to make snips into corners. Snip into the corners at the head and then at the neck. Again, don't cut the actual seam you've sewn, but make the snip as close as possible to the seam. Snip into the corners under the arm and at the hand. Then snip into the corners between each leg and on the outside of each leg. Remember, don't cut the actual seam. And finally, make a diagonal cut across the 2 corners at the bottom of the dress. Now you're ready to turn the doll inside out. Do this slowly and gently, using the opening on the side of the doll. It can be a bit fiddly, but gently keep pushing the doll through the opening. Take your paintbrush and use the rounded tip to help you push out the legs, the arms, and the curves around the head. Don't forget to push out the corners at the bottom of the dress. Now take small handfuls of stuffing and start by stuffing the legs. I like to use the brush end of the paintbrush to help push the stuffing into tricky places like the legs and the feet. So this is what the doll will look like after stuffing. I like to stuff more stuffing into the head and less into the neck, as it allows for a crease to form under the chin. The best way to stuff a MAE doll is to start with the legs, then stuff the head firmly, then stuff the body, and finish with the arms. And finally, it's time to stitch all 3 openings closed. Again, use a long piece of doubled up thread and tie a knot at the end. Start at one end of the opening and use a ladder or slip stitch to close the openings. The goal here is to close the opening completely, and you may have to adjust the stuffing as you go along. And there you have it. 7 easy steps later and you've made a MAE doll. You can keep the MAE doll as she is, or you can embellish her. I'll be posting up a video soon with some ideas on how to embellish your MAE doll. Don't forget, if you'd like to learn more about MAE dolls or purchase your own limited edition MAE doll, please visit us at maedolls.com.
Thanks for watching!